Hey guys. So for people who don't know, I like JoJo. Uh you wouldn't think it, actually you would. I just don't make a lot of JoJo references, but it's a really good show. It really is. And it's been around a while. But Stone Ocean has just come to an end a couple days ago. And yeah, it's kind of sad because I was really enjoying it and I wished it was going on longer, but it's just everything ends. But so the finale, and I would love to play the finale, but it's got a song in it that I really don't feel like having that copyright struck. So I'm just gonna talk about the series and the finale. I'm not gonna give it like analysis and review of like, oh, this is everything that happened. Basically, so we have Jolene, who is the daughter of Jotaro. I want to say it as white as possible. Jotaro. Just like my favorite other favorite show, Naruto, and his friends Sasuke and Sakura. Um, Jotaro is the father here, and not these two. These are actually alternate, different versions. So basically, Father Pucci, who is the villain in Stone Ocean, was working with Dio, and they wanted to create this idea of heaven. So basically, for them, this idea was everyone knows when they're gonna die, and they can like live life accordingly. It's like, oh yes, people will be much happier when they know exactly when they're going to die. And no, because like, what about criminals? It's like, well, I'm gonna die tomorrow. What if they die the next day? It's like, well, I'm gonna die tomorrow. What are they gonna do? They're gonna cause as much crime as possible. That doesn't seem like a paradise or a heaven. That sounds like a hell. If every criminal in the world knows when they're gonna die, they're just gonna cause as much havoc as possible. So I don't see that as a heaven. So uh he sets out and he's like, oh, I need to get the new moon and blah blah blah. And so we meet a bunch of people. We meet Hermes, we meet Anastasia, we meet Weather Report or Weather Forecast, depending on which one you want to call him. We meet Emporio, thinking about Harry Potter for some Imperio. No, Emporio, who's like this kind of ghost kid to everyone. He kind of like lives in the jail and he has like this cool little room he can go to. He's got like a computer he can just kind of like spawn out of nowhere. But we meet a lot of cool people. Um, we have a person called Foo Fighters or FF, who isn't actually a human. They're like this creature that's taken on human form to help them. Because the one episode they had a chance to kill him, but they decided to spare him because they saw that it wasn't evil. It was just doing its job, and you know. So after it's kind of an act of kindness, they're like, you know what, I'm gonna help you guys. Takes on a human form, calls themselves Foo Fighters, and really really cool character. I really liked FF. And then spoiler alert, she dies in like one of the saddest way. The whole thing was sad, and actually it didn't make me cry, but it was about to make me cry. That's how emotional it was. It was so fucking sad when that happened. Um, so it all leads up to this. Father Pucci creates his idea heaven that him and Dio wanted to do, and so everyone dies. Spoiler alert: everyone dies. They confront him. He eventually he goes through. He has his normal stand, and then he gets a new one, and then he gets another one. So he gets three different stands throughout the series, and his final stand is called Made in Heaven. Now, Made in Heaven, but the way they spell it, it's like Maiden, like Maiden, like Maiden. Um, and it controls time essentially. And at first, it's just like a small increment of time, like, oh yeah, every 2 minutes is a total of like 30 minutes, and you know. But then things start going a little faster and faster and faster. You know, the sun's going down, coming back up, and people are like, oh, it's nighttime already? Well, now it's daytime. And then finally, the sun is just a giant orange, blurry streak in the sky because it's going by so fucking quickly. And they all die, except for Emporio. So the world's remade anew, and we get back here in the jail, kind of at the beginning, like the first episode. Jotaro, I know, you guys be like, say his name right. Um, he comes to visit Jolene, and he gets shot, and he kind of like gets into this coma type thing. He gets his stand taken away and his memories and stuff like that, and basically without them he'll die. So it's her idea, like, okay, well, we need to get them to him now. We need to find him, and we need to get to him so my dad doesn't die. um so they bust out of jail, and then they end up having to fight Father Pucci. um but this is the first time that it's remade, and throughout this time, you got Father Pucci. He's got a really cool design. um yeah, so awesome. So Father Pucci's chasing him throughout. um it's just, he's so goofy looking here. You can tell it's like versions of them, but it's not them. Like you can, like Jolene's, you know, she normally has like a butterfly and whatever, but it's like a bee or a wasp or something this time. And you can just tell how goofy he looks. You just like, you know, that's not him. Um, but Father Pucci's chasing him through. Um, and he's like, just go hide in your ghost room and blah blah blah. And so he eventually does. Um, but to yeah, to the dismay of Father Pucci, he kind of fucked up. He managed to get weather forecasts disc into Emporio. So Emporio now has the power, you know, has the stand weather report or weather forecast, whatever you prefer. And so in order to defeat Father Pucci, he needs to keep him immobilized. So he fills the room with 100% pure oxygen. And for people who don't know, that's bad. Oxygen is good, but 100% oxygen, that's toxic. You can get sick from that. Um, so you can clearly see he's bleeding from his eyes because it's affecting him too, because he's breathing that same air. But you see the blood, it's coming from his eyes. His fucking pupils are bleeding somehow. But he just, and then he just goes to town on Pucci's face. And of course Pucci's like, no, stop it. If you kill me, it'll undo everything I've worked for. The paradise, everyone will be living in fear and blah blah blah. And Emporio's like, I don't care. We're not letting you succeed. Um and killing Father Pucci ends up resetting everything again. I like this part. We see this little tiny ant, and then this ant just lands back outside, and it kind of like looks around, and it's like, huh. And then it just goes about its day. And then Emporio ends up outside of the prison, as opposed to in the prison that he was, you know, he was just in there. But so the bus comes along, and he hears Hermes's voice, and we know it's gonna be like, oh god, oh god. So at first, when I watched it, I thought it was gonna be everybody. I thought Hermes was gonna get off the bus. I thought we were gonna see Hermes, Jolene, all that, but no. Hermes gets off the bus. Um, she stops the bus because she's trying to give the bus driver 50, and he's like, I can't do that. So she's like, okay, let me go in there and break the 50. She asks Emporio if he has any change, and they just kind of drive off without her. Um, And then this slick motherfucker comes out. So this is Anastasia, uh, dressed a little differently, dressed like some snazzy, slick motherfucker, and and then we get the reveal of what I mean, it really made me smile because this this slick, the feather in the cap, and so good. So we get to reveal that Jolene's in the back of the car. Although she doesn't go by Jolene, her name's Irene now, because even though it's the same looking person, it's a different universe. The universe has been remade. Um, her hair is a bit longer, but more or less she dresses the same. Um, and these two are now together, which for anyone who watched it probably wanted to happen the entire time. This dude went out of his way to make sure she was safe. He was gonna propose, kind of propose to her, and even asked her dad, it's like, "Hey, I need your blessing. Can I marry your daughter?" And he's like, "Nah." Um, but he really did care about her, and it's like, please, Jolene, just say fucking yes. Just acknowledge this man, please. And then you find out that in a different universe they do end up together, and it's so satisfying. Um, she's like, yeah, this guy is actually my boyfriend, and we're about to go see my old man, and um, but it seems like no matter what universe this is, he's always loving her, which is, I think, amazing. Um, but then it starts raining, and they're like, oh yeah, just ride with us. So she gets out, and Emporio's standing there without. So she's like, oh yeah, you can, and you can see she's still got the star to show that she still is his daughter, regardless of what universe this is in. Um, but and he starts to cry because it's like, I've got my friends back, and honestly, as goofy as it looks, when he started crying the first time, I was like, oh god, don't, no, please don't do this to me, because you realize that he did lose everyone. Everyone died except for him, and now he's back with his friends. They don't remember him, and that's probably what hurts him the most. Is that he knows who they are, but they have no idea who he is. They're all meeting him for the first time, but he knows who they are, and that's what hurts him the most. It's like, I've got my friends back, but they don't know who I am, but I get to be with them again. Um, and then this this sly bastard, which I was really happy to see. Um, we got weather forecast. He unfortunately dies. Um, he dies before the reset. He tries to take out Poochie by himself, and he ends up dying. So to see weather forecast back, and obviously it's raining out. So, and then he gets in the car, and you kind of hear that classic music, and then you get this little great image. So the music playing is Roundabout. You see it all the time with memes, that with that to be continued sign. Yeah, that song. That that song. Yeah, that's what's playing. Um, and we have FF right there. That's Foo Fighters. Really cool fucking character. Um, we have Jotaro, Anastasia, and Weather Report, Weather Forecast. They all have different names in Japanese, but I just kind of go by the American ones because they're really not that much different. Um, and the main girl herself, Jolene, kind of off to the side, even though her picture is the biggest one, kind of. Although Weather Forecast is kind of large, she should have been like front and center and had uh FF over here, and so it should have been her and her dad in the middle, and then everyone else kind of around them. But hey, whatever floats their boat, tickles their pickle, wanks their willy. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's so fucking random of a show. Um, there's a lot of shows that have come out that try to take on that art style and like the randomness. Like I remember back in the day, the show called Cromartie High. Same fucking thing, like the weird pronounced lips that they had and just random shit. Like these guys are talking and they're like like we need to go after him right now. It's just you find him in the weirdest poses. But yeah, it's been going on for a while. Um we got Phantom Blood, Battle Tennessee, Stardust Crusaders, Diamond is Unbreakable, Golden Wind. Golden Wind is also a really good one. I'm like, they're all really good, but Golden Wind, Golden Wind was like fucking uber fucking hacks. Like, so Golden Wind was the stand of Giorno Giovanna. And this thing could just do whatever the fuck it wanted, it seemed. And then it powered up at like the very end and became even more powerful. Um like Bucciarati, he pretty much died, and then Golden Wind infused him with like life energy. And then Bucciarati was like, something doesn't feel right. His heart wasn't pumping. He didn't have to breathe. He felt no pain. He was still dead. And then further on, he found out that his hearing was going, his eyes, he's starting to go blind because it's finally catching up with him. He wasn't supposed to be alive. And so Golden Wind was just fucking hacks all around. Um, but it was really, really good. The G and Guts. Um, but Stardust Crusaders. Who will be the judge? Wheel of Fortune. Dio's World. Um, as you can see, I've watched all of them. Like I said, it is a really good fucking show. And yes, sometimes it's random. Sometimes the art can seem ugly and over exaggerated, but it's a really good show. And I would say definitely give it a chance if you haven't yet. Um, and if you have given it a chance and you have watched and you have kept up with it, which is your favorite? Consider season, I guess, or series. It's more of a series. Who's your favorite? Which is your favorite series? Who's your favorite character? You don't have to have one. Who's your favorite stand? Because maybe your favorite stand isn't the same as your favorite character. Um, and the fun one, if you could have a stand, who would it be? And anyone from the show itself, or one you can. There we go. You have a stand, right? What's its name and what's its power? Let's be I want to see some creativity here because it's always cool to see what you know people think of. So yeah, Stone Ocean is over. It's over, and it's a shame because it's really fucking good. But everything good comes to an end. Um, but yeah, that roundabout. So many meanings for that roundabout thing. Because I think it's kind of the end. Like their stories kind of ended, so it kind of ends where it started with them. But also in the matter within asked with Emporio, a roundabout, he loses his friends, but then he meets up with them again, even though they don't remember him. He knows them, and now they're friends again. So in a roundabout way, after universe being reset 2 fucking times, they're friends again. Um, so in a roundabout way, he regained his friends. So I think roundabout was perfect for it. And then it kind of goes on, and then it shows like from the different versions. You got so just all the different versions right there, and We have like here's Golden Wind, and we have Bucciarati, and then here we have what would Stone Ocean. We got Jolene right there in the car, Anastasia, Irma's right there. Um, uh, Emporio, Father Pucci, yeah, Irene. Um, but it was so fucking good. Again, I know the art can be a little weird sometimes and a little bizarre, but take the time, watch it. But yeah, if you watched it, which is your favorite stand? Who's your favorite character? Which was your favorite series? If you could have a stand, what would it be its name and what would it do? Let me know below. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.